If you're like me, one of the games that has occupied your attention all year has been the latest and greatest racing game, Mario Kart World. It's truly a fantastic time, and, sometimes while I'm playing, it feels like a 16-hour studio album with a game attached to it. The soundtrack alone has a lot to talk about, and while I could probably go on and on about the entirety of it, I think I wanted to take a unique approach to ranking some of the more prominent tracks you find in the game. What I want to do is rank all 30 or so tracks based solely on their music. This is no regards to any of the other routes or how these courses play time after time, but rather on if the music track does a good job representing the idea and gives good theming to the course that you're playing on. I'm judging this based on whether it's a solid song, how exciting the accompanying prelude is at getting you excited for the track, the instrumentation and composition, and of course, how good of a song it is. This game is very high style, and as such, the new compositions reflect that. Does it properly elicit the right vibes? If it's brand new, does it paint the right kind of new picture? And above all else, does it bang? Again, this is just ranking music, so it's entirely opinion-based and not really objective, and especially not a dig at the quality of the tracks in the soundtrack, or the soundtrack itself, because even the ones I don't particularly like are part of a masterpiece of an OST. If you think I'm wrong or stupid, please elaborate in MLA format in the comments and tell me what you think. This is my Mario Kart World track ranking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
First off is this course, which is notorious for being shit. What is its soundtrack? Also pretty lame. Which is a shame. Not many tracks suck in this game. This track is not the same. LeBron James. Number 30. Desert Hills. This course is just kind of whatever to me, and the soundtrack really helps sink the nail into the coffin. It's unmemorable, it's bland, it's like eating sand. It has all the evocative instruments of a generic desert feel and refuses to get any more interesting than that. Nothing bold, and it gets really old. This might be a weird way to phrase it, but every time I get to this course or hear its intro, I feel like I'm being teased for being here instead of somewhere more interesting. It's the guy nobody invited, and if someone put this song on blast, I'd probably kick them out from the party. Though the music and styling of this entire game are far from bad, even on the blandest of courses and songs, this track has a deserving spot on the bottom of the list. Honestly, this next pick kind of baffles me, because I want to like it, but it really doesn't do it for me. Just kind of a whatever melody on a course that could have used the TLC from the soundtrack. Number 29. Shy Guy Bazaar. Some of you might be surprised to see this one low, or maybe not, and this is a actually based choice. But yeah, I think this theme isn't god-awful, but it's just not a strong showing of the soundtrack of banger after banger. It also seems weird to have two desert tracks back-to-back on this ranking, but that's purely coincidence. In my opinion, instead of growing on the original song like a lot of the course and track remixes in this game, it kind of amplifies a lot of the issues I had with the tune in the first place back in Mario Kart 7. The song sounds very gloomy for the most part, and while I don't hate songs that are sad or melancholy or different, it puts such a strange and foreign to Mario Kart bummer energy to a track that I struggle to resonate with in the context of a fun go-karting game. Though drastically different songs, it reminds me of Ghost Valley, where the strange and dissonant melodies don't really work with the exciting and adrenaline-pumping fun of a racing game. On that note, at least Shy Guy Bazaar is a song. Anyway. If you're breaking a long-standing tradition and making yourself the penultimate track to Rainbow Road instead of Bowser's Castle, you better have the best music to do so. Unfortunately, this track does not. Number 28. Peach Stadium. Peach Stadium is a pretty okay track overall, but the music for it sort of gets on my nerves because of the missed potential. In my eyes, I think that the majestic swelling and the awe-inspiring instrumentation makes for such a powerful start, and then the second I hear the harmonica, everything just fades away for me. Trust me, I love the sound of the harmonica as much as the next guy, especially as it's used in the rest of the soundtrack to give that road trip cross-country vibe that this OST loves. But here it just kind of drops the ball hard. I think if it were an electric guitar or maybe brass, it would have stayed a bit more cohesive with the majesty of it all. And maybe I'm in the minority with this track, but when I saw the regal aesthetic draping this massive Mario Kart 8 inspired sky castle, I thought it would sound a little bit more akin. It is a minor drawback in the composition scheme of things, but when you've got a big position to play of being the sole course standing between you and Rainbow Road, you need to bring something out with a little more oomph. Either way, unfortunately, just A-okay. Sorry, Mr. Harmonica, your time comes later.
I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool.
Okay. Admittedly, this one also isn't a great track altogether, but you kinda have to walk with me for a second. Number 27, Koopa Troopa Beach. In my eyes, this track is kind of stupid. But the kind of stupid that at least sparks joy in me every here and there. Knowing we were getting Koopa Troopa Beach as a returning course isn't all that exciting, as SNES tracks tend not to be. But when I saw the facelift it was receiving, and that it was just quite literally just a beach rave hosted by DJ Koopa, I have to admit, I chuckled. I chuckled pretty damn hard. It's a cute, silly little gimmick, and the composition reflects it pretty nicely. There's something about turning one of the most docile and laid-back beach themes from the original game and just EDMing it that kinda gives me a shit-eating grin when I'm driving on the course. I'd much rather something make a stupid choice than go for nothing and end up broke either way. Desert Hills! Unfortunately, it's still a tiny and short composition and nothing special outside of its rug pull of what you expect, so this is as far as it gets in the list. From here on out, we've covered my F and D tier courses, so literally anything after this is at least enjoyable to listen to in some regard, and aren't annoying or heavily disliked by me. But these four stinkers, using that term lightly no less, just needed to go. It's all uphill from here. This take might upset some people, and I think I'm okay with that, but I think it must be said. I'm getting a little bored of La Vaca. Moo. Number 26, Moo Moo Meadows. Moo Moo Meadows is an iconic classic, but I think I'm just kind of dying from repetition. Too much of a good thing isn't a good thing anymore, and where a lot of other tracks are reinventing the wheel pretty hard, this track screams all reliable in my heart. The fiddle and the pipes still kick like they always do, and I'd love to smooch those musicians, but I think at this point, I've heard Moo Moo Meadows more than I'd prefer to, at least back to back to back in games. Where I can't wait to hear classic pumping tracks like Waluigi Pinball or Coconut Mall, where they get the adrenaline pumping again and again. This track doesn't really have the energy or high octane drive like they do, so unless I feel like slowing my roll, I won't gravitate towards giving it a listen. Still a lovely track, just the bottom of the solid courses.
I think you're now.
I am a sucker for a great forest track. I love getting really into the earthy, whimsical instruments and all the fun little things. This track could use some of those. 25, Acorn Heights. This course is a pleasant one, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it really suffers a strong identity crisis in what it's trying to represent in the song. It's nice and whimsical from a composition standpoint, but if I blindly asked you what this song is representing, you might struggle a bit to get the evocative of a big ol' woodsy tree. I wish the melody stood out a bit more and took more drive of the song, but for now the song is just kind of okay. Again, pleasant, just not anything greater than that. I sort of prefer the more ethereal and sparkly wild woods to this acorn tree, and that's definitely a preference more than a judge of quality, but if asked which of the two felt more like a whimsical forest, I would easily gravitate towards Wild Woods over Acorn Heights. Sorry, buddy.
This week, a hot new bombshell enters the villa.
Don't call me up.
Not to turn every single one of these intro segments into subtle shade, but this track does a really fantastic job depicting a lovely scenic beach. Too bad it doesn't really nail the peach all too well. Number 24, Peach Beach. I don't have a very nostalgic attachment to Peach Beach despite playing Wii and Double Dash a bunch, but I've always thought that the song was nice and fun. When it's used here, I don't know, man. I think they made a song that works perfect for the beachside paradise that they have in Lap 1, which is, for all intents and purposes, the actual Peach Beach, but not for the grand and majestic Peach Villa Castle Resort thing that they have for the entire rest of the course. Normally, cohesion like this, in this example, wouldn't be such a big deal breaker unless it was Peach Stadium jarring. But the issue is that you only play on the Villa side like 80% of the time you get to play on this course, which is why I feel like the music sticks out a bit. It's giving Hawaii while you're in Havana, which gives this strange dissonance. Again, a perfectly decent and pleasant track, just not in the right spot, which brings it down in my opinion. I think we're finally entering the zone where a lot of these songs are starting to hit their stride, or are sort of in their pocket, so to speak. This is one of the first courses, I think, to do so. Number 23, DK Pass. DK Pass is the chiller, friendlier version of its older cousin DK Summit. While I think the latter makes for a more exhilarating rush down an open mountain, I think the music here is just okay. It kind of reminds me of the feeling of traveling up the mountains for a ski trip as a kid, which I think it does an okay job of representing. It just feels a little bit silly of a winter song, and while I think it could be a better DK song or a stronger, more exciting course, I think there's nothing inherently wrong with a mellow drive through the snow, even if the ski resort section could use some more exhilarating music. It's less violent snowboarding and more vibey vacation. You get a pass. A DK pass.
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Speaking of tracks that could use some help exuding the characters they're named after, we get Stormy Seed Shipwreck. 22. Wario's Shipyard. This track is already facing a difficult challenge, making a song that really used the split dynamics of having an above and below water soundtrack sound good solely above the sea. Do I think it nails the landing? Not my favorite full remix, but at least one that gets the blood pumping a little harder. The strings and the electric guitar are strong, and the piece has space in the middle to let the natural stormy ambiance of the course really take the foreground. But it would really kill for this song to do the polar opposite of what I needed DK Pass to do, which is to get a little sillier. Wario Shipyard got renovated from this spunky crash site to a brutalist concrete nightmare, and while I don't hate the change inherently, the music could have been the place to let the Wario shine. If you are looking for a classic staple Mario Kart track, you'll be happy to know that this course is still kicking. Don't fix the song if it ain't broke. Number 21, Wario Stadium. Don't hate me for putting the two Wario tracks back to back. Wario Stadium just happens to be used for a lot of sounds and tracks throughout the series. It just happens to be Wario here. I feel like Wario Stadium and its accompanying track are a bit timeless for the series, being used ever so frequently because of how generic it is, which isn't a bad thing. I think it might honestly work better for the stadium than any of its raceway counterparts or whatever, but because of that, it doesn't stand out much to me. The new instrumentation is still a genuine banger, but not more of a banger than the remaining 20 courses we have here. I know I sound like such a downer, but earnestly, all of these tracks are great, even the classics like Wario Stadium. There's only one track remaining in the C tier, and you might see where I'm coming from if you've been hearing how I've been talking about the circuits and the stadiums and whatnot.
Hello, Mario.
I've talked about classics. I've talked about classics. Now what about this game's brand new iteration of a classic? Number 20, Mario Bros. Circuit. Mario Bros. Circuit is the first track you race on in this game. Its Radiator Springs Badlands approach to the introductory course is a refreshing break from the very sleek and consistently okay F1 racing circuits of games past, and no better to express the switch up than the music. Where Peach Stadium failed to capitalize on the soundtrack's driving force of electric guitar, piano, and harmonica, this course thrives on it. The harmonica not only gets to shine harder than ever in this course, but you really feel at the tippity top of the great road trip coming ahead of you, especially since this is the first and usually the only full-length course before you're likely to experience your first intermission, and thusly, your first dose of road trip-style Grand Prix. The song is a really pleasant time, and I'm glad they took a small risk for a good-sized payoff. while introducing us to the world of, well, Mario Kart World. And now it's time for our B tiers, which are all songs I like to a really good amount. I've started to get tired of the more generic ways that they tend to tackle the spooky courses in this series, but this track? Whew! Even if it's not the best course, it certainly is an audible banger. Number 19. Boo Cinema. They tried something new with this broken down haunted cinema for this game's Boo course, and oh my god, am I glad that they did, because it gives way to one of the most creative musical themings for these courses. Every time I cross the starting line, I could picture myself in an old thriller while lightning crashes in the background. My only issue with this song? Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a big one. I think that the melody for the track proper is only okay. The song is carried by its theming and instrumentation instead of the actual melody that it follows. You've got a problem if I'd much rather drive around the entrance than inside in order to hear the intro to the route, the prelude for this track, which is really delightful. Even still, that can only drag it down ever so much, especially when the love for the aesthetic musically is all in the right place. Small little touch, even the music switches up a little bit when you drive into the screen and goes from spooky to grand, and it ties right into the rhythm of the course as well. All good stuff.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's
Birdo. Close your eyes and embrace the smells and sounds around you. Take in the ocean breeze and tell me what you see. Probably not Mermaid Birdo, no? Number 18, Salty Salty Speedway. Salty Salty Speedway is a course that, albeit loosely themed after Birdo, gives all of its homage to Italy, or more specifically, the canals of Venice. Even just from the music and instruments, you get a little bit of an idea of the kind of race that you're in for. And while I think that the melody could be a bit more dynamic, I would be lying if I called the song anything but pleasant. Hitting the glider right as the music switches to the refrain is a heavenly feeling. And not even the best case of that happening in this game. See number 9. Though you've yet to see it in this ranking, I'm really fond of the world homages in both the song and level design that we get to see in this game, especially after a mobile game not so subtly taking you around the world. Mario Kart as a whole focuses on, well, Mario most of the time. So while it isn't Vancouver Velocity or Los Angeles Laps, I'm glad to see that there's a still existing subtler approach to worldly theming in a Mario World game. While sure, this is the canals of Birdo's Salty Salty Speedway, they have zero shame with their love and appreciation for the styling and aesthetic of Venice, down to the music. And you'll only see this idea featured better and better. We're really in the realm of cooking hard, no Italian pun intended. I genuinely cannot believe I'm saying this, but this is one of the better, if not the best, refreshes of an ancient Mario Kart theme I've seen in a minute. Like out of nowhere, no less. What the hell do you mean we're playing football? Number 17, Choco Mountain. I've seen and heard this course many times over the years of Mario Kart, and never quite liked this bad boy. The electric guitar and heavy use of crazy drums with a little organ peeking out at times really enhances this otherwise lifeless course into the charge and chuck dirt muck that they really made this out to be in this game. I'm not even the biggest Choco Mountain fan out there, but real recognizes real, and this goes crazy. Credit where credit is due. Maybe I'll pick up the pigskin or learn how to BMX all because of this one track. I'm just kidding, I won't. But could you imagine? Am I personally impartial to the big band Bowser over his more gritty electric guitar counterpart? Yes, personally. But is this still a banger? Oh, most certainly. Number 16, Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle in this game is the perfect example of one core concept: thrill. The electric guitar just absolutely drives and drives and drives non-stop. The drums keep pounding, your heart keeps racing, and the foot never lets off the gas. Where most games go for something eerie and menacing, and with Mario Kart 8 being an exception, this song just beats the ever-loving crap out of you left and right. It's hard not to headbang, which might get you killed on the sharp turns and the steep heights of this course. Most of the reason it's not higher on this list is personal preference to the snazzier, jazzier sound of Mario Kart 8's Bowser theme. God man, there really isn't a song that powers any harder than this and the entire rest of the soundtrack.
It's f***ing Mario Kart again!
You know how I've been talking about classics and classics? What about the series classic, the original gangster classic? Number 15, Mario Circuit. If I'm gonna hear the series' oldest track, it better bang. And this guy bangs. Bangs hard. Bang Bang by Jesse J. Bang Bang Gorilla. The original songs in Mario Kart had a pretty heavy Latin influence to them, which you normally couldn't tell because, well, duh. But this time around, you are surrounded in influence and hashtag nostalgia, and it actually feels and plays really, really good. The arrangement and the jazziness and everything about the fusion of this just brings a huge smile to my face, to the point where I forget I've been racing this single track since before I could read. Also, the little doo-doo-doo-doo-doo itches my brain very hard. If they're gonna keep us playing on the grounds this series was founded on, at least it bangs.
You should have been my friend. Go get that fucking job.
I've always thought this course was a banger, and I'm glad to see it back. And badder than ever. Toad Factory is one of those courses that's been very heavily requested for a while now. And though my eyes for it aren't personally rose-tinted, the music for this course still bangs really, really hard. But there's one specific touch that the music enhances in this course that I think really makes it stand out. This song isn't afraid to make Toad Factory menacing. Out of context, it's all snazzy and bold, but in context of the Mario Kart world, the factory is right at the foothills of Bowser's Mountain, not by Peach, or out in a pleasant field, it's gunking up the waterways. And in that context, this song excels by a large margin. The composition takes the playful big band vibes and makes it corpo evil. It's a great touch. If you take an already banger song and make it work even better for its context, you have a fantastic song on your hands. Good stuff, Toad. My friends and I have begun to call this track the Bruno Mars course. Is it because of the talk box? Yeah, it's because of the talk box. Number 13, Crown City. This song sounds like it could have been the best song to come out of Tour, which is to say it takes a jazzy cityscape and really just enhances and enforces that funk drive. Talkbox is not something I could say I've heard in a Mario Kart song, or something I think I'm perhaps forgetting if it has existed, but in this composition, genius, chef kiss. I think the thing that really makes this song work for Crown City is that it actually works to not have it represent a single part of the city. No matter if you're on the coast, through the back streets, or cruising through the rooftops at night, this song sounds like the city proper, Crown City. It's funky, it's fresh, it's strangely Bruno Mars, which is actually a compliment, even if it doesn't sound like it. This song is really a true treasure. That is what it is. That was stupid. Airship. 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 Take everything I said about Toad's Factory and flip it straight on its head. What if we take an already twisted and evil theme and get it really rowdy and fun? Number 12, Airship Fortress. Airship Fortress was one of my favorite courses on the DS, and to hear its theme get absolute justice in World is a delight. The harmonica and electric guitar pair gorgeously with the heavy string and brass accompaniments here and really just take you for a journey. But like I said earlier, I think what makes this song and this course is that it really decides to be bouncy and fun instead of leaning too heavily into the menacing militaristic vibe of its backdrop, which somehow makes for a perfect complement for the Mario Kart composition. I remind you that this song is a great, great song, and it's only the top of the B tier. We're only on bangers from here on out.
It's from Japan!
I don't have a clever intro for this bad boy. It's just really good. I need to come up with a word that isn't banger. It's like 50 times in my script. Ugh. Number 11, Cheap Cheap Falls. It's rare for Mario Kart to get a really good Japanese-inspired track or song. Not that there aren't many, but they're few and far spread apart. Dragon Driftway and Ninja Hideaway are good songs and good tracks, but this game's Japan rep is the newly created Cheap Cheap Falls. And God, does the adrenaline get pumping. Nothing quite as exciting as rushing down a raging waterfall while the pipes and the woodwinds swell and go hard against the electric guitar, all while the drums keep sending you off the edge. It's simultaneously whimsical and pleasant all the while to keep the drive pushing forward harder and harder, giving it a sound unique to anything we've heard so far with this theming in the series. I'm realizing the further I go into this list, I have less to say and more feel like I'm pushing a speaker in your ear and going, just listen. Just listen. So I promise I'm doing my best to articulate. Here's 10 more rankings to prove I will do no such thing.
Aurora Borealis.
This take might get me in some hot water, especially because the course itself is considered a stinker in the great library of tracks for this game. But I defend my case that this song is still really good. Number 10. Starview Peak. Though Mario Kart certainly has no shortage of snowy weathered tracks, I think Rosalina's Ice World from the Mario Kart 7 game invited us to a very special feel for the Frosty Stage. Am I saying Rosalina's Ice World is a good galaxy-themed track? No, far from it. But what I am saying is that Starview Peak, at least as it stands as a song, is the best logical progression of that theme executed fantastically. While I am on the topic, I will say that the Mario Kart World version of Rosalina's Ice World is fantastic. Okay, that's all on that. Hearing the strings mixed together with the celestial pings and chimes really elevates this track to a great height, pun intended, and intensifying this otherwise boring layout with charm and magical whimsy. There is this really satisfying feeling behind soaring through the sky and swimming through the Starlight River with this intense beat in the piano ushering you forward. Even if it isn't the best course layout, I will forever be an apologist to the theming and for this song, and how well it suits this entire area. This track I originally had a lot further back in the list, but upon re-listening and replay, it finally hit me, the magic that is this course. Number 9. Great Question Mark Block Ruins. At first glance, I kind of overlooked Great Question Mark Block Ruins. It's a great concept, being a jungle-esque ruin floating high up in the sky, but without the most intense theming otherwise. Still a really fun track and a pleasant song, but I was having trouble retaining it or liking it over the other temples and jungles and sky tracks for the matter. I was looking down and deep, searching for hearty jungle drums and more gritty and mysterious rhythms when I should have been just letting the music lift me up to the heavens. And when I did that, I caught it. The music hitting that beautiful refrain as you jettison through the clouds off a massive ramp and glide your way to safety, that's the magic that only Mario Kart can capture. This song is a light. Light like the sun as it shines on you as you start this course. Light as a feather or a cloud like the ones all around you as you drift through the beginning. It's the subtlety that makes this track work. It isn't crowded or heavy, and that's what makes it magical. It only took me a little while to realize that. It can get really hard to go retro for the theming of a course when it comes to nostalgia baiting, especially without going to If Mario Then Only Bros with it. That being said, I think this track does a fantastic job of having its own unique stellar shipped identity while paving a gorgeous homage to the game that started it all. I literally mean it all. Number 8. DK Spaceport. DK Spaceport takes one of the easiest and simplest concepts, being a winding ramp remaking the original track from the OG Donkey Kong game from the arcades, and it says "Hold My Beer." Track aside, making anything unique and majestic out of is a Herculean task, but the team behind the soundtrack not only manages to find a way to make it stand out and create a powerful melody, but they do it 6 goddamn times! This track is comprised of not only the root theme and a main theme, but every leg of this 6-section minimum track gets a unique flavor as you keep getting higher and higher. The bass melody, or the first lap, introduces us to the snazzy and jazzy big band frenzy that we'll be driving along. giving us a wonderful and delightful remixing of all the important motifs from the original DK game, which is, to say the sole 3 themes that compose it. From there, it only gets better. Each turn has you ramping up, pun not intended, further and further through the simple back and forth of the melody, adding more intensity and boisterous horns every step of the way. By the time you make it to the top, it's hammer time like it's 1990 all over again. Yes, I'm 35 years too young for that joke. What's your damage? Everything going apeshit as you drive straight through Mecha DK is just chef kiss to me, capping off this crazy adventure, of course, right up to the finish line. They could have absolutely dropped the ball here, but they carried it all the way to the top and made for an excellent throwback track and course theme.
Hey, Lois!
What?
Just because Mario Kart has begun to go worldwide doesn't mean we've gone everywhere, or tasted a sample of every culture we've got to offer. Sure, we've gone American, Japanese, and some tastes of Europe, but what if we go where no Mario Kart game has gone before? Let's get Irish. Number 7. Whistle Stop Summit. What happens when you take an Irish jig and a Midwestern square dancing vibe and get them into a train wreck? You get Whistle Stop Summit. It's kind of hard to explain how adrenaline pumping a course like this is, but the music really just kicks total ass. The fiddle player and the banjo player are wrapped in this beautiful duet with kicks and chanting and shouting that takes you to this land you've never really been to before. Which is to assume you've never been to an Irish train near Junction high in the hills of the Canyons. If you have been there, please correct me, I'd love to come with you. I don't know why I was so worried that this track would have a boring song to accompany, or that it would be a bit too trainy, whatever that sounds like. But whatever it is, we got what goes beyond delightful to give you one of the best games introducing tracks out there. What the fuck am I saying?
I don't know why I was so worried that this track would have a boring song to accompany, or that it would sound a smidge too train-like, whatever that sounds like. But whatever it is that we got goes beyond delight, to give you one of the game's best introducing tracks out there. Yeah.
All the swag is in the Mushroom Cup of all places. You'd expect a banger like this to come up later on in the game, but this game presents that right off the bat. All that to say, when this game has something crazy good to show you, you best believe they're starting you on the right foot, or on the right wheel, or track, I don't know, whatever. This Mario Kart track is not only this game's first reference to the African of Savannah, but also the first instance of yet another Toad business venture. Wharf. Why does he own a wharf now? What's he doing there? Boat tours? Why not the Everglades? Am I getting repetitive with saying that these songs and courses are unique to the franchise? Maybe. Maybe just a little bit. But that being said, is there anything quite like Faraway Oasis? Yeah, not quite. There's a level of majesty to the choral singing, the thumping drums, and this unique melody we've never heard any of the sort before. I feel like it's cliche to say that it reminds me of Lion King just because it takes place in an animal-packed savannah, but simultaneously the feeling of jumping from that one big rock to the other big rock, and the ending on the waterfalls, doing anything you can not to fall, all while this fantastic music track plays in the background, it's really, really good. But from here on out, not only my top 5 tracks in the game, but the 5 tracks I believe are truly S+ music picks in my opinion. I quite literally do not care what you think of this track. You can call it Worst Excite Bike Arena or Oval all you want. Talk to the wall. It's time to scream for ice cream, bitch. I've been a defender of this course and its accompanying song since it came out for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. I have known this course was part of something greater, like the unreleased new Mario Kart game. And I was right! I was right all along! Anyway, there's something quite like the adrenaline-kicking dash through all these frozen, delicious novelties, and what a better way to demonstrate that than the high-octane, high-fructose fun that is this song's ridiculous drum fills and the most insane slap bass that this series has to offer. I could swear this song could be in a Pokemon or a Thundercat album, the way that the bass dances around alone. As mixed as I am about the rest of the ice themes in this franchise, I will always hold fast that Sky High Sundae not only perfectly executes on the zany, eclectic feeling of drifting over dryers and blazing through briars, but it is the most fun and awe-inspiring ice cream theme in the franchise. I don't care if the take is hot or not. They're not getting any colder. Stay mad.
Starlight Express! Starlight Express! Starlight Express! Starlight Express!
If you're looking for me to talk about why Rainbow Road is 4th and not higher nor lower, I've got some unfortunate news for you. 1, it's Rainbow Road, and 2, you need to do the song justice for yourself. I promise I'm not doing this out of laziness, the opposite thereof. I think that this Rainbow Road might be my favorite in the entire franchise, but you have to treat it like your favorite artist's new album, and go in blind, listening top to bottom the way that they meant you to. Which is to say, I want you to go on a journey and enjoy this track as a complete package. I let myself not get spoiled on the layout or the theme of this track, which is why I have it severely muted and blurred still, as it was the sole track unspoiled for me by the build up to playing this game. And the feeling of experiencing a new Rainbow Road and the magic that it has deserves to be shared. So pause the video, or circle back to this later, go watch someone play the track. Maybe I'll link myself, maybe I won't, I don't know. And enjoy Mario Kart's Rainbow Road. Personally, I believe you should drive alongside it. What are you still doing here? Oh, you thought that was going to be the best track. How naive. There's clearly 3 more tracks left. I just knew you had to enjoy it as the full package. If you're back, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did the first time. And if you haven't watched it yet, go. Or don't. You know, viewership counts. If you've made it this far in this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed or dropped a comment or a like on this video. Working on stuff like this is really not what I do for anything but a hobby, and it would mean a lot if you're able to continue to support the channel, or just share this video along with your friends. Sorry, I have to do it, and you're 35 minutes into this thing, so. Anyway, Rainbow Road is great. I wouldn't have gone through more effort to go through less effort if I didn't think it was worth it. Now back to the podium for the best 3 tracks this game has. You want to talk about culture? Tracks from around the world? How about one of the remaining places Mario Kart has gone that I've yet to talk about now? The home of my great ancestors from years past, Dry Bones. No, I'm just kidding. Viva la Mexico! I promise this course isn't this high because of biases for either Mexico, of which I am actually part Mexican, or Dry Bones, who is my go-to goober in like almost every single Mario game I can play him in, but instead proof that we needed both. A good Dry Bones track and a Mexico track for ages. Dry Bones Burnout is the zenith of the celebration of Latin roots in Mario Kart's music. The soulful waltz through some of the best instruments Latin music has to offer, from the piano to the accordion to the mariachi brass, combine in this package to just absolutely make driving through the scorching barren wastes of this Dia de los Muertos Burnout a joy. A true and earnest Dry Bones delight. And it doesn't hold back on anything either, really letting the melody and the thematic instrumentation take the metaphorical wheel and carry this course beautifully. Look, it's hard not to get this excited over a course I've loved this hard, especially when it's one of my favorite courses in the entire game. And yet, still not what, in my opinion, is the best track theme from the game. Far from it. We've talked plenty about culture in this ranking due to how much love this soundtrack has for taking slices out of everywhere here and there. But what about the home field advantage? On a game all about road trips, why don't we get really into the country and get bluegrassy with it? Oh my god, this track, man. I cannot fucking believe how infatuated I am with it. And everything about it. Using all of the steel guitar and banjo in this one, you'd expect it to be a boring old country song. But when you actually see the course and you're hit with everything it has to offer, it all changes. Not only is this such a thematically unique track, blending mysterious glowing caves with the metal urbanist look straight out of Odyssey's Steam Garden, but so too is this wacky, wondrous theme. The melody dances all around you. The banjo and accordion run up and down, and while you're taking in the magnificent sights of the Dandelion Caves, you get blasted with the electric guitar and harp out of nowhere. You fly through the cave, dash out of the water, and crawl all the way back up to where you started at astonishing speeds, all while this country bumpkin-ass celebration serenades you on your journey. It's kind of hard to sing this song anything but praise, because it's just beautiful. I'm genuinely getting emotional thinking about it. That sounds like sarcasm? It's not. I swear I'm not country trash. I'm from the big city. But if being out in the country was this magical, I'd drop my city life to go there in a heartbeat. And yet, still, I don't think it's the best track in the game. My personal favorite? By a landslide. But even if this list is littered with bias and opinion, I think this next track is truly the best main course that this entire game has to offer. For some of you, this choice might be a bit absurd. A remix? Not an original composition, at number 1? And I'll remind you, this isn't even from a game I grew up with, since I grew up in the Wii era, not the GameCube era. Even if I've become a collector in recent years. I didn't even realize how good this course's song truly was until I was sitting listening to this game's soundtrack ad nauseum, watching a comparison video between old tracks and new tracks. I could have very easily slotted Dandelion Depths here, seeing as it's my personal favorite. But to not only ignore the facelift that this course got, but to ignore how far the song has come would be borderline insane, downright criminal. This game celebrates all of Mario Kart, and the remix that this course theme got, as well as the course itself, is the best example of that celebration and magic that is Mario Kart. The number 1 song in this game isn't even a contest to me. It's Dino Dino Jungle. Dino Dino Jungle was whatever for me in its previous iterations. Jungle drums, quote-unquote, with a catchy melody, set in a nondescript jungle with a cave, a single dino to speak of, big whoop. But Mario Kart World gives us the Dino Dino Jungle we've deserved all these years, and it even blows any version of its song straight out of the water. Forget DK Mountain, this is what we've needed all along. Instead of being nondescript, it gets really descript. It fully gives Jurassic Park theming from head to toe and is unapologetically boisterous about it to a wonderful effect. You would think adding shredding electric guitar and bass to a song in the soundtrack for the nth time might be overkill, but when the composition was originally so empty, it's exactly what it needed. This half jungle drum and flute mixed with half modern guitar and minor synth composition makes for something truly magical. Not to mention that until you cross the starting line, this route tricks you into thinking it's yet another boring, foresty, verdant jungle track. Not the broken down dinosaur exhibit that you get taken to with all the shredding. That is the magic that this soundtrack brings, and why I think beyond all the remaining 29 tracks, it's this track that stands out as the best track and course combo package of this game. The best facelift from its original entry, the best route theme to hype you up, the best execution on its new theme, and the best new theme at that, and the best track in this game of the original 30 songs we were given. And there you have it. That's my ranking of all the Mario Kart World tracks, based solely on their music and thematics. My opinions differ when talking specifically about how they play or the exact layout as someone who's actually been playing the game nonstop, but even so, I think with how brilliant the soundtrack is, this game's music deserves a spot to shine and be ranked. If you liked this video or agree with it, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to know what your thoughts are on these tracks and songs, or how much you hate me and fully disagree with what I'm saying. I've got plenty more videos on the back burner that I'm hoping that I can get to at some point, so if you'd like to see more of that, feel free to drop a subscribe and, follow me elsewhere or something like that. It's always fun to engage with you all, and I want to take as many opportunities to share what I love with you guys, no matter what form it takes, or how long or over or under edited it may be. As always, I'll see you later. Bye!